Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to play the guitar solo from the classic Michael Schenker Group song, Armed and Ready. Now this came off of the first Schenker Group album, released in 1980, which was simply titled The Michael Schenker Group. And it really should be looked at as the first solo album for Michael, because at that point he had already played in both the Scorpions, alongside his brother Rudolph, and in the band UFO. And it was his time in UFO that really caught the attention of a lot of up-and-coming guitar players, from Randy Rhoads and Adrian Smith, to Kirk Hammett and Dave Mustaine, to Slash and Dimebag Darrell, and on and on. So many people were influenced by him. And if you're new to Schenker, I think a great place to start is the live UFO album, Strangers in the Night. One of my favorite live albums of all time. Great songs and great guitar playing. Alright guys, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Alright, with section 1, this is a very classic double stop type of lick. And here it is slowly. And so what you're doing here basically is you've got one finger on the 8th fret of the B string and another on the 9th fret of the high E string, and you're picking those notes and quickly sliding up one fret. Okay? Followed by, all right? You do that 8 times. 8 times. All right, pretty simple, right? Now you'll notice that I'm using my ring finger on the B string and my pinky on the high E. And that might seem like an odd choice of fingers. Like, why not use my index and middle finger like this? Okay, the reason I'm doing that is because right before the solo, I'm coming off of a chord that, for me at least, it's easier for me to transition to using my ring finger and pinky. Okay, so right before the solo we do, and we end up at this E flat chord, bar chord, where you've got index finger at the 6th fret of the A string and your ring finger at the 8th fret of the D string. Okay, so then all I have to do is take my ring finger and pinky and put them on the 8th and the 9th frets. It's just a quick movement of my fingers, okay? If I wanted to shift from that bar chord to using my index and middle finger, it would look like this. So a little bit extra movement. It may not seem like a big deal to you. Do whatever's most comfortable, but I just want to call out why I'm using my ring finger and my pinky. It's just a more natural transition from the chords before. All right, here's this section one more time at slow speed. All right, let's keep moving. All right, section 2 at slow speed goes like this. Couple things I want to call out here. In that first box, we do that 15th fret of the B string bend up, right? Followed by a 12th fret at the high E. That first bend is a little bit slower than the rest of the bends in this section, okay? You're going to dig into that one a little bit more. A lot of times I'll actually see people replace that first box with just, right? Kind of like the rest of the solo, that same feel. They'll go like this. Okay, you can certainly do that, and I've seen Michael do that live, but on the record, he does it the way I initially showed you, before going into the rest of it. And then after that, you're going to keep doing this pattern 3 times, right? So you're bending up at the 15th fret of the B, followed by the 12th fret of the high E twice. Okay, do that 3 times. And then the 5th box in, now we're going to bend up at the 17th fret of the B string a full step, followed by, now see how I've got that little scratch note in there before the 12th fret of the high E, okay? If you want to just play the 12th fret of the high E twice like this, you can. I do that quite a bit when I play this solo, but if you listen closely, there's that little scratch in there. And part of the reason why is that when Michael Schenker plays this section, he's only using 2 fingers, okay? Michael's a 3-finger player, right? He rarely ever uses his pinky. Kind of like Eric Clapton, right? When he's playing solos, he rarely does the pinky come into play, all right? I'm a pinky user. I'm going to use my pinky, but if you want to play it like Michael, he actually does this whole part with just 2 fingers. His index finger and his middle finger, kind of like this. It feels really uncomfortable for me to do that personally. I love Michael Schenker, man. He's a fantastic guitar player, and the fact that he can do this whole solo with just 3 fingers, I think it's fantastic. I personally, I'm a pinky user, so I'm going to use my pinky, but I wanted to show you how Michael does it. And I think that's part of the reason why we have that little scratch note there. Because when Michael's playing live, when he bends up at the 17th fret, you'll notice when he plays the high E string, he'll do the scratch right here before going down to the 12th fret, like this. But again, I think you should use your pinky. It's just a good habit. So here's this section one more time, slowly. All right, let's keep moving. All right, section 3 slowed down goes like this. Now you can see I've broken it out into a couple boxes here, and I find that's the easiest way to learn it. Okay, so in the first box, we're going to go. So what we're doing is we're pulling off from the 15th fret of the B string to the 12th fret, followed by the 14th fret of the G string, followed by the 12th fret of the B string, and then you're going to pull off from the 15th to the 12th of the B string, followed by the 17th to the 12th of the B string. Okay, 15 to 12 and then 17 to 12. All right, so here's what we have so far in that box. And you notice there's a little bit of a wide stretch there, so you can see the fingering that I'm using. Again, when Michael plays this live, he's only using 3 fingers. So again, do what's most comfortable for you. Then in the second box, we're going to go. Okay, so it's 14th fret of the G string, followed by 12th fret of the B string. And then again, we've got the pull off from the 15th to the 12th and the 17th to the 12th of the B string. Okay. Then we repeat that 2 more times. And then finally the last box. So 14th fret of the G string, 12th fret of the B, pull off from the 15th to the 12th of the B, and then the 12th of the B one more time. Now, to me, that's the easiest way to learn this section. But if you want to actually learn it with the right feel, okay, when you play it slow and you're trying to get the right feel down, I actually recommend learning it this next way. See how I broke it up into mostly groupings of 4 until the last 3 notes? Now, of course, you don't want to put those pauses in there when you're playing. I'm just trying to show you how the notes are broken out. But again, at the end of the day, if you want to learn it the way that I showed you a minute ago, once you get it up to the full speed, most people aren't going to be able to tell. So you can decide which way you want to learn it. All right, this next section's got some pretty big bends in it. Here's how it goes slowly. So the first part is going to go like this, slowly. So what we're doing here is first we're sliding up to the 18th fret of the G string, followed by 17 and 19 on the B string, and then we're going to do a big bend at the 20th fret of the B string up 2 steps. So what it's going to do is it's going to take us from here to here. Okay? Then we come down from that bend halfway and then back up. Okay? and then slide down, okay? Now, if you went all the way down with that bend instead of halfway down, most people aren't going to notice. But if you listen closely to the original solo and slow it down, you can see he comes down halfway. All right. Then the second part, we're going to slide up again to the 18th fret of the G string, followed by the 17th and 20th of the B strings. Then we're going to bend up at the 20th fret, 2 steps again, so from here to here. Then we bring it back down and slide down the fretboard, okay? Then in the last box, again, we're going to slide up to the 18th fret of the G string, followed by 17 and 20 on the B string. Then the first bend is 1.5 steps, which takes it from here to here, okay? So you're bending up at the 20th fret of the B string, 1.5 steps, okay? And then you're going to do that bending little pattern that we did at the beginning of this section, where you're going to bend up 2 steps at the 20th fret of the B string, bring it halfway down, back up, back down, and slide down, okay? So here is this whole section one more time slowly. All right, let's keep moving. All right, the next section is going to go like this, slowly. So we start off playing the open G string. It's kind of faintly in there, but it's there, before you bend up at the 2nd fret of the G string a full step. Then you hold that bend for just a little bit and then apply a wide vibrato. Then you're going to play the open G string, followed by 2 bends at the 2nd fret of the G string. The first bend, you're going to apply a little semi-pinch harmonic quarter step bend, followed by a full step bend. Okay? Then you're going to play the open G string, followed by a pull-off from the 2nd fret to open G, followed by the 2nd fret of the D string, and then you're going to play 2nd fret and open string G, and then 2nd fret open string D. So here it is from the beginning, slowly. All right, let's keep moving. All right, the next section is going to go like this, slowly. All right, so we're going to break this up into a couple of different boxes. The first one's going to go like this. All right, so we're going to go 7th fret A string, 6th fret A string, 7th fret A string, followed by open E, and then we're going to go 4th fret D, 5th fret D, open E, 6th fret A string, 7th fret A string, open E, 4th fret, 5th fret D string, open E, 6th fret, 7th fret A string, 4th fret D string. Okay? And I notice my fingering there. I'm using my middle and index finger mostly, but sometimes when I play it, I'll add in my index and my ring finger and my pinky like this. Just play what's most comfortable for you. Then the second box is going to go like this. Okay, so you've got a 5th fret D string, followed by 4th fret D, hammer on to 5, pull off to 4, and then 7th fret A. Okay, then 4, 5, 7 on the D string, and then the 5th fret of the D, hammer on to 7, pull off to 5, pull off to 4. Here's this whole section again. And then in the last box, we're going to go like this. Okay. So first we've got a 5th fret of the D string pull off to 4th fret, 7th fret A string, 4th fret D string, okay? And then we're going to do a full step bend at the 5th fret of the A string, okay? And then we bring it down, and then back up, back down, and back up. But the first bend up and down is slower. You see how I tabbed it, where that first bend going up and down is a bit wider? It's slower, right? Okay. All right, here's this section one more time at slow speed. All right, let's keep moving. All right, the next section slowly goes like this. So I've broken it out into little boxes to help you get the feel down right while you're practicing slowly. The first box, you've got an open A note, which happens really quickly in here, followed by a 7th fret A string note with some wide vibrato. In the next box, we're going to go 6th fret, 7th fret on the A string, followed by 4th fret D string, and then 7th fret open string A. And that A string note should be palm muted. And, oftentimes, instead of playing that open A string, people will replace that with the 4th fret of the D again, like this. And that could be what Michael was going for, but if you listen to the record really carefully, you can hear him hit that open A note instead. Although live, I've heard him hit the 4th fret of the D. So you can play either way. Most people won't notice, okay? So, again, this part goes like this second box. Then we go 5-4-5 on the D string, 7-5-7 on the D. Then we're going to go 4th fret G, 7th fret D, 4th fret G. Then we're going to do 5th fret G, pull off to 4, and then 5th fret again. You can pick all those notes if you want, but I can hear a pull off in the original. Then we're going to go 7-5-4 on the G string. Then we're going to do 7th fret D string followed by 5-4 on G. Then we're going to do 7th and 5th frets D followed by 4th fret on G. Then we're going to do 7-5-4 on the D string. Then we're going to do a 7th fret A followed by 5-4 on D. Then the pace slows down a little bit, and we're going to do 7-5 on the A string followed by 7-6-5 on the low E. And then we're going to do a bend up at the 3rd fret of the low E, back down, back up, and then slide up. Okay? All right, here's this whole section one more time slowly. All right, let's keep moving. All right, the next section slowly goes like this. So in the first box, we're going to go. So what we're doing is first we've got a couple of low E string palm muted notes 3 times. Okay. Then we're going to play the 12th fret of the D, G, and B strings, but we're going to try to add a little bit of a pinch harmonic in there, right? You should know how to do that if you're tackling this solo. So just kind of get your finger in that, that pinch harmonic position where your thumb is catching, and play the chord like that, okay? And you can see the second time we play that chord, we give it a little bit of a vibrato before we slide down. Now in the second box, we're going to go And so it's 3 notes on the low E string, palm muted. Then we're going to bend up on the 3rd fret of the low E string 2 steps. That's a pretty big bend for being down here on the fretboard. But that takes a note from here to here, okay? So the bend up is quick and the release is a little bit slower. All right? Now, a lot of times, I will see people replace that 3rd fret bend with the 5th fret, and they'll just bend up 1 step, okay, like this. Okay, that's wrong. It's, if you watch Michael play, he always bends it from the 3rd fret, and it has a different feel, right? When you're bending up from the 3rd fret 2 steps, it's going to sound a little bit different than when you bend up from the 5th fret 1 step. Even though you're going to the same note, you reach the same note, it's just going to sound different. So I highly recommend you do it from the 3rd fret if you want it to sound more like the original. Okay, and then at the last box, it's really basically the same as the first box. All right, let's keep moving. All right, the final section is going to go like this, slowly. So in the first box, we're going to start with an open E note, palm muted. It's pretty faint in the mix. You could even skip it if you want. No one will notice. Okay. Then we're going to bend up at the 2nd fret of the G string, a full step. And the release of the bend is going to be slower. Okay. Then we're going to do open G, followed by 2nd fret G, and then 2nd fret D with some vibrato. Okay. Here's this section again, slowly. Then in the second box is where we go. Okay, so we're going to play open D followed by 2, 4, 5. Then we're going to play the 4th fret of the D, hammer on to 5, pull off to 4, pull off to 2. Okay, 4, 5, 4, 2. And then 4, 5 on the D with some vibrato at the end. Here's the second part of this section again. Then in the third box, we're going to go like this. So we're going to play the 7th fret of the D string, slide up to the 9th, and then we're going to play the 10th fret. Then we're going to play the 9th fret of the D, slide down to 7, slide down to 5. And then we're going to play the 4th fret of the D string twice, but the second time we play it, we're going to quickly slide down to the 2nd fret. Okay? You don't want to linger on it the second time like this. You want to come out of it quickly. So here's the third part of this section again. Now with the last box, remember we just left off at the 2nd fret of the D string. We played that note and gave it vibrato. Then we pull that note off to the open D. Then hit the open D again. And then we've got like a little muted scratch followed by your finger sliding down the top 3 strings. Okay? So here's this whole section one more time slowly. Alright, that was my lesson on how to play the song Armed and Ready from the Michael Schenker Group. If you enjoyed it, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I will attempt to answer them as time allows. Until next time, rock on.